Good morning, friends. Let's talk today just about some of the struggles that we can have as a mom as we're going through these years. I know in the 27 years of being a mom, there's so many times that I have struggled with a few things over and over. One struggle is, am I missing out? As I stay home and raise my children and give my life to this, am I missing out on other things or great opportunities? I can read stories or hear stories about women that are doing amazing things for the Lord and amazing things in ministry. And then I could feel like, wow, I could be missing out because I'm just home with my kids and raising my kids. The other thing that I can often struggle with is, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough if I just stay home and just raise my kids and I'm faithful in that and loving my husband? Is that enough? So those two struggles can be very real. Am I missing out or am I doing enough? And I can even vacillate between those two, which it almost seems like they're opposites, but both of those things can roll into my heart and roll into my world, and I can struggle out with those things. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that. It is so important for us to just step back and sort out the value of how we're spending our lives. I love in the Message Bible in Proverbs 31, it says, she senses the worth of her work. And wow, we need to just sense the worth of our work. What we're doing, what we're laying our lives down is so important. And God called me to lay down my lives for my husband and my children, and no other woman on the face of this planet is called into that ministry. That is my unique ministry. And so I love that thought, just that God has put me in this position. He has put me. This is my lot in life, that God has asked me to lay my life down for my husband and my children. And just the sense of the worth of that, just a sense, wow, that is so valuable. And that is such a good way to spend my life. Am I missing out? Am I not doing enough? Those two things can fade away as I sense that I am the one that God put in position to love my husband and children. And then the other thing that I like to think about is our impact in this world we will never know. So we are putting all of these days into loving our husband and children and building in and raising and training and teaching them in the instruction of the Lord, just like the scripture says. We're putting all these years in, and we're never really going to know the impact of that until we get to heaven. And so we're investing in something with the hope and with the belief that it is going to matter. And I can see in the scripture where it does matter to the Lord. In 1 Timothy 5, this is an interesting place where it talks about actually widows. It's the church of Ephesus, and it's talking about put these particular widows on the list to support them, that the church could support them. But it gives definition of these women. They are to be the noble widows, the women that have spent their life correctly, the women that have invested in the right things. And the list is fascinating when you read through 1 Timothy 5:9. It says no widow may be put on the list of widows unless she's over 60, has been faithful to her husband, and is well known for her good deeds, such as bringing up children. That's the first thing that's listed there, that she is well known for her good deed of bringing up children. This is what they would call a noble woman, a woman that deserves to be put on the list and cared for by the church. It goes on to list other good deeds. It says showing hospitality, washing the feet of the saints, helping, let me flip my page, helping those in trouble, and devoting herself to all kinds of good deeds. But I think just it's beautiful there to just recognize, yes, our lives are given to good deeds. And one of the things that the scripture recognizes as a beautiful, beautiful good deed is to be faithful to her husband and to bring up her children. I want to look in another place, which is Proverbs 31, and I want to look at the end of that chapter in verse 27 and 28. It says, this is talking about, again, a noble woman, a woman that is to be recognized, that is to be praised, a woman that fears the Lord, that we should give her the reward that she deserves. And it says in verse 27, she watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. And so there you see where a noble, godly woman is watching over the affairs of her household. and that her children recognize her as a godly woman, and her husband recognizes her as a godly woman. And then there at the end of that chapter it says, give her the reward that she has earned. And we have to remember, we are earning a reward, that God is seeing all of our lives. He's seeing every day, every night as we're up in the middle of the night. He's seeing us lay down our lives for our children. And he says that is right and that is honoring. And I just love that he recognizes that it will not be wasted, that when I get to heaven, all of that will be laid out, and I can lay it as a form of worship to the Lord, that I did it because God called me to.